In the silence of Egypt's sands, among stone columns that defy the centuries, lies an ancient symbol, the Eye of Horus. More than an emblem carved into temples and amulets, it perhaps carries a secret, a code lost between science and mysticism, between the visible and the invisible. What if this symbol was not just a sacred image, but a map of our own brain? Today, we dive into one of the greatest enigmas of antiquity and modern spirituality, the intriguing connection between the Eye of Horus and the pineal gland, the so-called seat of the soul. Have you heard of the pineal gland? Small, the size of a pea, located right in the center of the brain, but with a potential that surpasses the limits of science. A bridge between the physical and the spiritual, or at least that's what many traditions believe. But let's go back to the beginning. In Egyptian mythology, Horus was the god of the sky, son of Isis and Osiris. During a battle against Set, Horus had one of his eyes torn out, and later restored by Thoth, the god of wisdom. This restored eye came to represent healing, protection, and the balance of opposing forces. But there's something even more curious. The Egyptians used the Eye of Horus to represent fractions. That's right. Parts of the eye were associated with values: 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, all the way to 63/64. The eye is never whole. It's always missing 1/64. As if to say, knowledge is never complete. There's always something hidden. Coincidence or a clue? In the center of the human brain, right between the two hemispheres, there's a small pine cone-shaped gland, hence the name, pineal. Scientifically, it regulates the sleep cycle, produces melatonin, and responds to the presence or absence of light. But spiritually, it is much, much more. To Descartes, the 17th century philosopher, the pineal was the seat of the soul. In Hindu tradition, it is the famous third eye, linked to the forehead chakra, intuition, inner vision, enlightenment, and there's more. The pineal is the only part of the brain not divided into two hemispheres. It is singular, as if it were a point of connection to something greater. Now comes the surprising part. If you look at a sagittal section of the human brain, that is, a side view cutting it down the middle, you'll see that some internal structures look very much like the Eye of Horus, the corpus callosum, the thalamus, the fornix, the pineal, all there at the center, forming together what appears to be the same sacred eye. Yes, the design of the Eye of Horus has real anatomical correspondence, detail by detail. Could the Egyptians have known this? Did they have access to this knowledge, or did they perceive it through intuitive spiritual means, an inner map of consciousness? Many alternative researchers, spiritual thinkers, and even theoretical neuroscientists claim that the pineal gland is far more than just a sleep regulator. They say it's an internal portal, capable of tuning into subtle frequencies and releasing substances like DMT, known as the spirit molecule. During deep dreams, intense meditations, or altered states of consciousness, the pineal might be acting like an antenna, receiving or transmitting transcendent experiences. That's why so many traditions speak of activating the pineal through silence, controlled exposure to sunlight, sound frequencies, or consistent spiritual practice, as if this tiny gland were a biological key to access the divine. What if the Eye of Horus was not just an outer symbol, but an inner memory, an invitation from the ancients, not just to worship, but to awaken, to look within, to access the invisible, to recognize that biology and spirit perhaps were never truly separate. Maybe what we call mysticism is simply a science not yet understood or forgotten, and what we call science still has much to learn from ancient wisdom. The Eye of Horus, the pineal gland, two sides of the same mirror, two signs, two callings. The Egyptian symbol may have been telling us for millennia, you already possess the all-seeing eye. It is inside you, waiting to be awakened. In the end, perhaps the true sacred temple is not made of stone, but of flesh, blood, and consciousness. And the greatest of mysteries is not out there, but right here within you. And if this message resonated with you, if something here touched your inner vision, go ahead and give this video a like. It helps this content reach more seekers like you. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to receive the next episodes. And tell me in the comments, do you believe the pineal gland is a real spiritual key? Or that the ancients knew more than we imagine? I'll be reading your thoughts down below. Until our next dive into the mysteries that live within us.